Hello with Nigeria Now, where we will be looking at current issues in Nigeria presently raging from the issue of the NLC and TUC coming together after being divided to look at this common enemy they have, which is talking about the palliative and also how they can push forward their request to the federal government. Also, we'll be taking a look at what is happening in Lagos and Ondo State, as it seems to be a hike of fuel price over there, and then the queue have resurfaced. So we'll be looking at some of the ways forward and then what can be done. I am Stella Elisha Dasham. You can join us live on Facebook and drop your comment there, and then we'll do well to read it. I will be doing this alongside Rachel Tensi. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sally.
Well, all right, let's get the ball rolling straight up. And I want us to start looking at that of the rumor, but because this is speculation, it's not yet certain that there might be a hike of fuel. We will recall that there was a time, especially when the removal of the fuel subsidy started, and then we heard with the downstream also saying the fact that they are giving licenses to about 56 marketers the right to also import fuel. I remember the NNPC boss then came out to say that this is a way to actually open up the market so that there will be better
More
competition,
yeah.
you know. And then from that 56, it was speculated that it was just only 10 marketers that actually started, because we've seen the way the prices of petrol have been, and then also looking at oil price even in the market, it has actually gone high. I think we saw it today, it's about 93 point something dollars, so you could actually tell that the price is high. And then right now marketers are finding it very difficult to actually import, because we still import fuel into the country. So marketers are actually finding it very difficult, and we've seen that in Lagos and Ondo, the queues have resurfaced because some of these distribution oil places are actually increasing, or they are actually seeing speculation that from today possibilities are they might increase the price. And so we know the way Nigerians do behave when it comes to, like, everybody's trying to rush and then actually try to keep something in reserve so that they don't run into crisis whatsoever. But then what is your own speculation about all of this rumor going on?
You know, Sally, the first thing for me is that when I hear that there's scarcity in Lagos, the first thing that comes to my mind is that we're in trouble. Because if Lagos don't have oil, you think about the remaining states in the country, knowing fully well that keeps devaluing. We are seeing a free fall week on week concerning the dollar, naira to the dollar in exchange rate. So, and we are seeing that dollar keeps hitting new high. Now, don't forget that marketers have come clearly to tell us that the issue we are having is that there is a problem of supply in exchange rate. There is dollar scarcity as it is now. So if we are having dollar scarcity, and that's why we're having our BDC operators saying that we are going to keep seeing this increase because there's no dollar. We are having scarcity of dollar. And let's not forget that marketers do buy
dollar
in dollars. Exactly. We don't use our naira for these transactions and all of that. So automatically we are seeing many factors around the supply of petrol in the country, that with or without a rumor, except for some kind of intervention by the government, whether fuel subsidy is still in place or not, we will most likely
see a hike in the
see a
price
hike
of,
in, yes, exactly, because there was once a time we had fuel subsidy in place. However, it didn't stop fuel pump price from going high. It didn't stop us buying a fuel at an expensive rate or at exorbitant prices. It didn't stop neither of that. The difference we're having now is that the removal of fuel subsidy brought a jump, an over 200% jump, exactly, an increase in the fuel pump price. So I've been saying this, and there can't be overemphasis on what we are supposed to expect in regard our economy is about bracing ourselves and preparing ourselves. Things like petrol price going high shouldn't be a surprise to Nigerians, okay? We just have to know that with the policies in place and with how things are going economically, things are going to be like this for a while. There is no magic. There is no magic in turning things around when it comes to fuel pump price, when it comes to inflation, when it comes to coming to the naira having a free fall and all of that. All we are hoping is that we have the federal government working with the Central Bank of Nigeria to make sure that by the first quarter of 2024, we will start seeing the output of all of these policies in place. We are seeing that the Dangote refinery is going to start with diesel and jet fuel by October, exactly. And even at that, we're seeing that he will be importing crude oil. The refinery will be importing crude oil. So we're still not even at the safe level because crude oil is going high and we are not buying. Dangote is not being supplied by the NNPCL for this crude oil. He is buying it out there because the NNPCL at this point cannot even have crude oil for Dangote refinery because of the loan swap and all of that with other companies, yes, and banks that the NNPCL have signed such deal. So yes, we just hope that we now have a new CBN governor and we will sit down and see what can be done about the free fall of the naira. Exactly. Are we, because automatically it means unification is no longer in line because we had the exchange and importers windows determining the floating of our currency, but we are seeing that the barrier change is back again. We are having our parallel market in play, and the major reason to why we are having this shortage in supply because of the BDC, because if it was the I&E window, then we didn't have to worry about dollar availability exactly with that window. But now we are having this parallel market, and then we have to worry about the availability of dollar and then its supply. So it's going to go on now for a while, with or without rumor, with or without speculation. There are many factors in play outside fuel subsidy that might eventually affect or make it definitely to some extent that fuel pump price will go high for a long period of time now. Maybe
so that's just like telling Nigerians to actually brace up for more, you know, or things, because I remember also even the diesel price, or the gas, they say as of December you will be sure that you'll be buying the 12 kg and over maybe 18,000 or so. So this is quite a lot for Nigerians looking at the way things are going. And just like you said, the moment you heard that the queues are back in Lagos, it's already panic attack, because you can imagine somebody living in the far north, what is their own hope if marketers cannot actually make this fuel available? We've mentioned it today. I mean, we're hearing that the dollar is about 1,000 naira to a dollar. So you can imagine by the end of the year, what will dollar be versus the naira? So quite a lot. And then marketers are just looking forward to the federal government, the CBN, and see how they will come in and actually provide, like say, a balanced floor, so that we'll be able to say that at the end of the day, the common man will be affected. And we know the moment there is, we saw the diesel, which was 1,001, 1,002 per liter. And we're seeing
Super
petrol
nice.
hopefully might even be 800 naira to a liter or even more. And this is what the market are saying they might be buying at. So quite a lot actually for Nigeria. So just when we are looking at independent coming by Sunday, and then you will be wondering what is all of this thing. But we are hoping that hopefully the government will come in and actually provide a way. Since it's just in Lagos, Ondo for now, we hope that if something is being done to actually address it there, then it doesn't, spread out to other states. Now, still looking at the issue of government coming in, talking about interfering and all of that, we're looking at the issue that finally, after a long time of being divided, the Labour are now together. That's talking about the NLC and the TUC. And yesterday, we alerted our viewers that the NLC will be meeting virtually for those who will not be. So they will be able to come to an agreement. And whatever that meeting state will actually be the outcome. So there was a circular. They actually made a press release. And I don't know if you can get it from the control room. Please, if you can help us just display that talking about the press release that the NLC made yesterday. And here they say a communique at the end of the National Executive Council meeting of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria that was held on Tuesday, which was yesterday, of September 2023. Now, just read briefly just take some little requests that they made. And here we're having, after the meeting that they had, the Executive Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union of Nigeria in their various meetings deeply analyzed the current situation in the country, taking the cognizance the extensive hardships and deprivation afflicting our citizens across all states of the Federation, condemning the apparent conscious and tradeness in handling the consequences of its petrol price hike on Nigerians. The Council deliberated on the continual refusal of the federal government to engage in a meaningful and constructive dialogue within the habits of good faith, given the 21-day ultimatum and subsequent successful 2-day nationwide warning strike of the 5th and 6th of September, and other meetings that were supposed to demonstrate the preparedness of Nigerian workers to push through their decision to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike if their demands were not met. Now, I'd like us to go to the second page, where we'll see the consequences of Consequently, the NLC and the TUC in the section resolve as follow. Now, they have something they said. In spirit of the Independence Day celebration and to demonstrate our resolve for a truly independent Nigeria, to take our destinies in our own hands and rescue our nation. Secondly, to embark on an indefinite and total shutdown of the nation beginning on 0 hours Tuesday, the 3rd day of October 2023. Third, they said to direct all workers in Nigeria to withdraw their services from their respective workplaces commencing from the 3rd of October. To direct all affiliated and state councils to immediately start mobilizing accordingly for action to organize street protests and rallies until the government responds positively to our demands. And lastly, to enjoy all patriotic Nigerians to join hands across the nation to assist this government put the people back at the center of its policies and programs. Now, Rachel, looking at the circular coming from this joint union, they have stated categorically the government has refused. The government has been dragging their feet. They have used so many tenses and so many verbs to explain the action of the government that they are just, in a nutshell, they're just like giving them an I don't care attitude. And we're saying that just when this union met yesterday, the government, in a way to actually rescue back the situation, are calling them for an emergency meeting on that same Tuesday. That is next week Tuesday. Now, with all of this thing, somebody would say that ample time was given to the government to actually address all of this thing. Yes. But why do we have to wait until these two unions have come together? Now, looking at it, a lot of people came out to say that let us even have the private sector joining them together, because when you are looking at the trade union, you're talking about traders. So eventually, even union is telling us everybody should stock their house. Traders will also join in all of these things. But let's not forget, private sectors are not in the strike, because from the look of things, the private sector are kind of in together with the government, saying the fact that this will cripple the economy. Now, Richard, looking at this whole package together, what is your own take about all of this?
I like the fact that the NLC really expressed themselves in their communique concerning what is happening, and they use words like gross unwillingness from the federal government. And if you look at it, yes, Sele, we don't need the NLC to tell us what we are seeing coming from the government. And the thing is that the government knows, the government of Nigeria, this came from the president himself, that we have to give time before we start seeing things working out till the first quarter of 2024. This was a statement clearly from the president himself. And even when he talked about the things that he planned to do aside from the palliative, he made it really clear that these things are long term. What are you doing for the short term effect and help on hardship to Nigerians? And this is where we are seeing the unwillingness, and even a blind person can see it, that there is so much unwillingness coming from the government of Nigeria, despite an ample period of time given to them. Because whether we like it or not, from the 29th of May, where you said subsidy gone, and we just had fuel pump prices going as high as never before, that is enough period of time for people to start seeing some sort of assistance, support, funds from the federal government of Nigeria. And then, whether we like it or not, NLC have tried in giving the government grace. I'll put it like that, because it has just been a long rope. They kept on dragging it, they kept on dragging it. At some point in time, it's like so much speculation, like, what are the NLC doing? Are you just happy making rounds on the paper? You're just happy being on the front page at headlines, and then and nothing is being happening, like nothing has changed. And we said it yesterday on the show, Sele, that what is the difference when the Minister of Labor is saying, well, the president can't do anything? I said, well, he was just out of the country last week. He didn't do anything about it. What would be the difference with him being present now? Will it change anything because you've had enough period of time to go? And also, in a way, though, NLC is still giving the federal government time, because instead of probably coming out yesterday and saying we're going on strike immediately, I still see grace, more time given to the federal government, saying, you know what, you have from now to when we do our low-key independence celebration on Sunday, you have Monday, and then on Tuesday we will do what we want to do. And then for the federal government to come out and say, let's hold dialogue, there's no need for that anymore, Sele. They've told you this is what we want. We don't need dialogue anymore. We just need your actions. We just need you to do the needful. And I hope that that is the standpoint of the NLC, that we wouldn't wake up tomorrow and see that they are entertaining this dialogue from the federal government, because what else are you going to tell them that you haven't told them? And what is it about the situation of Nigeria that they are not aware of? They are aware of everything. The president have told us countless times, I am aware of your hardship. I feel your pain. I know what you're going through. Give us time. How long is enough? And Nigerians have tried, whether we like it or not. Don't put us in the position by having to do all the things that we are not supposed to do to get what we are supposed to get as the citizens of your country. So I'm just hoping that this time is enough for the federal government to show action, to act upon what NLC have seen, because truly there is unwillingness. And I know one of the complaints from the NLC and the TUC alongside is that they're seeing hijacking at the state level of the NURTW, and then in Lagos State where we have the RTEAN and all of that, saying that police are beginning to take over this union, their secretariat, their offices, and all of that. In a lot of ways, you are crippling these people, because they could also go on strike until the needful is being done, because there's so much fear for motorists and commuters concerning fuel pump prices, and then we need actions in the country. So overall is that I am looking forward, for me is I am waiting to see that the government acts now before Tuesday. And I am waiting to see that the NLC and TUC don't go back on their words. So let's see a government that wants the best for Nigeria, therefore doing whatever it takes in their power to make sure that Tuesday, the 3rd of October, there's no strike in the country. And I'm looking forward to seeing how things unfold now to Tuesday. Yes, I'm just hoping NLC stand their ground, and I'm waiting to see the Nigerian government moving everything to make sure that October 3rd don't unfold as it is planned so far.
You know, Rachel, even still looking at the government making it that it's Tuesday, they will be meeting them, and we're seeing the president promising packages for Nigerians come October 1st. Now, of course, a lot of ideas is going through the minds of Nigerians. These are not a normal address that we're going to be having. Are we going to be having some full stuff? Maybe the governors have all met in Aso Rock to collect various bag of rice, and maybe, you know, quite a lot of things will go through the minds of Nigerians. And then Nigerians will ask the question, so how do you want them to survive? We always hear of our parents and people who, the way 1st October was back then, it was more like having another celebration, grand celebration, where we're excited and happy. But after 63 years, look at where we are, Richard, as a country. NLC is fighting, TUC is fighting. In fact, teachers are also the Nigerian Union of Teachers also complaining that 3 years after, we could clearly remember when Buhari promised them juicy packages, reviewing of their retirement age from 65 to 70, and all of that. But we're yet to even see all of this thing be effected. So, of course, NLC will begin to wonder, maybe this is just one of those promises that will take another 2 to 3 years to be effected. And just like you rightly stated out, the fact that the last address we had from the president was more like a long-term goal, even though we know he said he was sending grains down south so that farmers can get to start planting and all of that. But Nigerians are hungry, and they need an immediate attention right now to their immediate needs. So we hope that beyond all of this back and forth, because I kept saying, why do we always have to have a union going on strike before a need is being met? Presently, we're still having our doctors on strike. They're still on strike. So what are we now saying? That you go to the hospitals, it's shut down, traders shut down, banks shut down, airport. So what is open presently, Rachel? Presently, we're seeing, even if you're talking about pharmaceutical products, we're soon going to stop importing things. We have to start looking around us, some herbs, go to your backyard and see what you can cook to. So quite a lot of things. So are we going forward? Are we going backward as a country? These are questions that Nigeria need answers to. So we are hoping that the NLC, the TUC, they have stated what they want to do. Right now, it's left for the government to have this next 4-5 days to rectify what they can rectify. Because if this strike should really go on, Rachel, then we're seeing that we are out for something that we are not prepared for. Especially right now, we're having the operating private sectors not being in support of this, talking about the economy, more hardship is coming in and all of that. So if the government have been dragging their feet literally, as the labor is stating, then I think it's time for them to be hasty and actually attend to the needs of Nigerians present right now, because Nigerians have been pushed so far and they are tired. It seems as if we are stretching and stretching, and then it gets to the point that they can no longer be stretched. So we hope that the government will not take the silence of Nigerians to be that they are cowards, no, but that the government will realize that the people understand, if we are having a low-key celebration, of course we are cutting the cost of governance, but then we are not talking about cutting our livelihood eventually, or cutting down our means of eating eventually, or cutting down our lives short. So we are hoping that more steps will come from the federal government. They have the time. I don't know what they can do now. If 21 days was not enough, 4 months was not enough, I don't know what they can use with this time that they have left to actually address all of the things.
I mean, Sele, permit me to speak on behalf of millions of Nigerians. If the package that the president have for us on independence is not one, at least 200,000 minimum wage, or the grand opening of a refinery that would refine at least 300,000 barrels of crude oil per day, Exactly. It's not good enough. We're expecting a lot from the president. We're expecting a lot from his speech. We are expecting what the entire Nigeria will benefit from it. And anything less than that, then is
I
not
think
a
it's not
package.
welcome by Nigerians.
Exactly. Anything less than that is just keep it to yourself until you have that
Something
package for us,
tangible.
something tangible, then before we will look forward to your package. So yes, Sele, on a very serious note, we are looking for such statements coming from the president, perhaps a grand announcement that one of the investors he would have. I have the signed deal, the check that they would invest this amount into the economy of the country, and this will start up at most the first week of November or something like that. Something that it is for every Nigerian, not things that will go to the pocket of few. And we can't overemphasize that until we have an administration that is willing to start taking decisions that is not for the few. Because when you make these drastic economic policies, it didn't affect few people. It affected an entire nation of
True.
over 200 million people. So why would you, when it comes to making things that will be of help, do things that will only benefit a few? No, we should know that better, that we need what will also go around for every Nigerian. And that's just what I'm looking forward to, because you know what, with or without none coming out to say that this is going to be, if labor, nobody will sit down and say labor going on strike will not be a catastrophe for our economy. It will be on a lot of level, but at the same time, it is needful for us to know that we have a government that we are working out there, and they truly want a Nigeria that will grow, not that you are out there doing your own quota as a citizen, and then we have a government that is nonchalant to the needs of its citizens. So yes, let everybody play their role. I believe that that is what will make us grow as a country.
God, thank you so much, Richard,
You're
for doing
welcome,
this with
Sele.
me. And thank you to our viewers for keeping a date with us again on Nigerian Now. We hope you've dropped your comment, and when we come your way again tomorrow, we'll take it. Thank you so much for keeping a date, and have a blessed day ahead.